Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Hey everyone, so happy you can join us for the Love Everyone podcast.
With your hosts, Govind Das and Rama Chandra Das.
A conversation of love, devotion, and walking the path of Bhakti Yoga.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Love Everyone podcast, episode number 29. My name is Govind Das, and it's so great to be with you all.
Hey everybody, I'm Rama Chandra Das, and what a blessing it is to be together. Episode 29. We're still rolling. Congratulations.
Hey. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Yeah, it's really just still feeling the buzz from that great festival we were hanging out at last weekend. Man, what a blessing that was to hang out at the Grand Valley Yoga Fest again with you.
Gosh, I hope they do it again.
I know. I told them they have to do it again.
I but doubt they liked hearing that.
I was like, dude, I was like, you guys are Seva. I told him the story with Jayutal talking to Siddhi Ma about how Seva is not so fun all the time. And, when Jai said, everyone around me, I'm leading kirtan and everything, and everyone's always so blissed out and everything, and they all just assume I'm blissed out all the time, but I'm not blissed out all the time. A lot of times I'm anxious and frustrated. And Siddhi Ma just said, what did you think, man? You're in the seva business. You're in the service business. It's hard work.
Well, they are doing some great seva at that festival. So I hope in the spirit of seva, they continue it going because it's really special.
Yeah.
Very special festival.
It really is, those of you that, I don't know, did we talk about it last time?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we can't assume everybody that's listening this time listened to last episode.
Oh, you mean it's okay? Is it allowed to listen out of order?
Of course.
Oh, you're right. So just everybody, if you don't know what we're talking about the Grand Valley Yoga Festival, and it's run by our friends Brian and Elizabeth out in on the western slope of Colorado in this beautiful, beautiful valley. And all the money they raise from this festival goes to health, mental health awareness and suicide prevention. And it's just really magical. And they put so much into it. They work so hard. And this year they raised $15,000 to support local organizations. And I mean, I don't know. I was so moved by that final. I was crying, like, as they were.
I'm not crying. You crying?
I was crying. I'm admitting it right off the bat, man.
I was crying. I was like a little baby.
I know. Every time they hand out another check, and then I was just like, "Oh my god, it's so beautiful." Yeah, it was super fun.
It was really special, and really so many lovely people there. And then this woman walks up to us and gives us an electric bliss sticker. I mean, how cool was that, dude?
I know. I still got a few. I'm going to give them out on Kirtan this Saturday night. Electric Bliss. By the way, if you haven't listened to the Electric Bliss episode, you might want to go back, dig through the archives, and find Electric Bliss. This was the way that we described. I asked Govindas here. I said, "Hey, brother, what would it feel like to get a hug from Ram, from a hug from God?" Because Hanuman, of course, gets that beautiful embrace after he helps Lakshman recover from his near fatal wound on the battlefield, and Ram gives him a big hug. So we're like, what would that feel like? And what did you say?
I said electric bliss, baby. That was the only thing that I could think of. And this lovely woman, I'm so sorry I forgot her name, and I hope she's listening.
I think her name is Sandra.
And she rolls in to the festival and she says, "I made these stickers for you guys." And that was about the last thing in the world I expected to see was a sticker that said electric bliss.
Hey,
Oh
it's
my
so funny though.
gosh.
So she posted that on Instagram or something, and it said, I don't, did you see that story she did?
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
said, if you know, you know, or whatever that.
Only those who know or
Well, it
something
was
like that.
there's a, if you know, or,
Okay.
IYKYK. It took me a minute to
Mm.
figure it out because I'm
Yeah.
not that hip. I'm not that hip when it comes to a lot of that stuff.
Oh, come on, bro. You have the whole new language, the new wave language. You're always breaking out the new stuff.
Well, anyway, but no, but those ones, so those acronyms, I don't always get too quickly. But anyway, I figured it out. If you know, you know. And so she posted that story, and then I reposted it onto my story, and somebody said, "I love that band." So I looked it up. There was actually a band called Electric Bliss,
Oh my gosh,
like a
that's
fusion-y
crazy.
rock band called Electric
It
Bliss.
doesn't surprise me.
It's a great band name.
It's a great brand band name.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to use it for my hard rock and roll kirtan band, but
Hard rock kirtan.
yeah.
Oh man, so all is well. All
Yeah.
is
And I heard you
well.
went to the Bahamas.
I went to the Bahamas straight from Colorado, Shivananda, Bahamas. What a beautiful place. Loved it there, although I got trashed in the most beautiful water you've ever seen. It was really crazy how something so beautiful could be so fierce. I got bit by all these jellyfish and sea lice, hundreds of bites all over my body that itched for the last 8 days. Just yesterday, it started calming down. It was torturous, but it was like how something so beautiful could be so fierce. That
Isn't
kept
that a
like,
beautiful? There's that beautiful teaching in there, isn't there?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the day after me and all these people, then they put up the sign, you shouldn't go into the ocean today.
Oh, because you came and reported it.
Yes, we reported what was going on there.
Wow. Is it a common thing down there? Because
Yeah, in warm waters. Well, I've had sea lice before. They
yeah,
call it
you
sea
maybe tell us a
lice.
little bit about sea lice because they're not really lice
Well, yeah, they're like the
of the
larvae
jellyfish, right?
of the jellyfish that you can't
Mm.
see. Now, they were called thimble jellyfish. You can see the jellyfish, but there was only a few of them. So I figured, oh, you just swim in the other direction, no problem. I've done that a million times,
And
but
they got 10
I,
million larvae
I
flying,
guess
following.
everywhere,
Yeah.
everywhere. And oh my gosh, it was so intense. So I saw the people that were in the water like near me later that day or the next day. I was like, by any chance, are you guys itching a lot? And they were like, yes. And one of them had like a calamine lotion from head to toe. And oh my gosh, we were suffering, suffering.
Oh no. And when I heard, I read up on it a little bit after you first told me because I was
Yeah,
like, you just told me you're like sea lice. And I was like,
sea
ew,
lice.
So I was like,
Yeah,
what is sea
sea
lice?
lice.
But apparently what happens is that, um, is that cold, fresh water activates them and makes them
Oh,
bite. So
oh,
what happens? They go up in your suit and you're supposed to wash off with seawater,
oh.
the salt water, but the fresh water, like, it'll probably makes them think they're dying or something like that, right? And that's what activates them to bite. So a lot of times people just come in, they don't even know they have them and they haven't even bit you yet. And then you just jump in the shower and
That's what I
that's,
heard. That was the word that was going around the retreat center too, and that's exactly what I did. Just because
of course,
there's a beautiful shower to get out of the water at
it's right there
Shivananda
on the
Bahamas.
beach.
So of course, once you get out of the water, you shower, and I guess that activated the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
But
What a
it
horror
was
story.
still a beautiful place.
Yeah.
A couple huge thunderstorms that shook the earth. Just
Uh,
thought of Hanuman, like shook the earth. But I really, really appreciate, the few places like this, in the West that are so grounded in the authentic teachings of yoga. They do Hanuman Chalisas on Tuesday. They do Bhagavad Gita readings every night and chanting, satsang twice a day, 25-minute meditations twice a day. So
Did you get a nice yoga class in?
I didn't do any yoga
No.
classes. Yeah.
I love those 2 hour classes, man.
Yeah.
All the
But
shavasana.
it was it was great, and the Bahamian people were just so sweet, and
Yeah.
the island vibes. But the water is so gorgeous.
I know. I
So
love this. So what's the teaching? And that's something so beautiful
yeah,
could be so
fierce.
fierce.
There's something in there. There's some teaching in there. I
There
know
is.
it makes sense to me, right? But at the same time, I don't know how to put that into words.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's, I feel it. I just feel it in there. It's kind of like, even just like, don't judge a book by its cover is one
Yeah.
simple thought, or like, or, yeah, um, just that, that beauty can disguise
Right.
what's right underneath the surface,
And so commonly we're so attracted to the external beauty.
Yeah.
And we say, "Will you marry me?" because of it. And then, what happens 6 months, a year later is
Yeah.
for
Oh, I was thinking there was this one time when I dated way back when, like when I was in my early 20s, and I dated this woman, and she was so beautiful and she was so out of my league. I mean, so out of my league. And
nah, come on, you're a handsome guy.
well, okay, anyway. I mean, no, she okay. All right. Well, if I showed you a picture, you'd probably agree.
I've had a whole lifetime of going for girls out of
No, I know. I've always gone for girls out of my league, but just,
They look at me, they look at her. Something's
anyway.
not right here.
But but then when she dumped me, boy, that was fierce.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was the fierceness right underneath it, baby.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, but I mean, even my wife's out of my league, really, when it comes to just being a good person, that's for sure.
Don't
Oh
sell
man.
yourself short, man. You're a really good person.
I know I'm a really good person, but she's like a really, really good person.
She is. She has a heart of gold. She's just, we got to spend some time together. Without you, we weren't talking bad about you.
I'm sure everything you were saying was just but you were talking about me, right?
No, we weren't talking about you. But that was the funny. You said you were going to go to the festival before us, and I was just going to drive, Melissa, and you said, yeah, yeah, I'm cool with that, but just don't talk bad about me, okay?
Oh, okay, right. I forgot that. Yeah, that's right.
But she's so easy to converse with,
Yeah.
and just has such a heart of gold.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes like even when we go like out to dinner or whatever, and I notice like when people like really start talking seriously, they just look at her.
That's great.
And I become just kind of like a spectator of the whole thing.
You're trying to get words in, but
No. I used to. Now
just
I
being
just,
elbowed out of the conversation.
I just roll with it. I do a lot of talking. It's good for me to listen sometimes. Learning to listen.
Great.
Learning to listen. This is one of my. That's why I love the first mode of bhakti. Right, is shravana,
Just listening.
and it's just and listening and the importance put on listening. And of course,
Mm,
yeah, specifically maybe they're talking about listening to the stories of the Lord, listening to the glories of the Lord. But even just but just how that first thought, that first word is listen.
mm,
Just before you do anything else, just listen.
mm,
And that's I love the symbology of Ganesha too, with the big ears and the small
mm,
mouth. Listen more, talk less.
mm.
listen more, talk less. Because that, boy, I need that lesson.
Well, don't talk so little. Remember, you're a host of a podcast
Oh,
right
yeah,
here.
yeah, 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 yeah. But I still want to make sure I leave some space for you to talk as well. I'm a co-host. Yeah, that's
Co-host.
this is good. This is good work for me too. The co-host,
Being a co-host.
being a co-host. Yeah, I really got it. You know,
Yeah.
just trying to take it to that next level.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be self-deprecating over here. That's not that's
You're good looking. You listen well. You're a really nice guy. I'm pumping you up, man.
yeah.
We covered it all today.
Oh man. Well, I don't know if you're fishing for a compliment or whatever, but but you're
No, no,
you're
I'm
pretty good looking too,
serious.
bro.
I'm serious about all this stuff, man.
Yeah, I know, but again, it's all relative, isn't it?
You dress really well, you know. Love your
Oh,
beard.
you hate it when I shave my beard.
You're
I
a
could
great
tell.
singer. You play guitar well. Let's keep going. I love your
Oh,
clothes. I love your wardrobe.
I was talking
You're a
with
great cook
Raghunath.
too. You're a great chef.
I was talking with Raghunath, who hosts the Wisdom of the Sages podcast, which was, sort of part of our inspiration for even doing this podcast together here, the Love Everyone podcast. And I was telling him how much I loved his podcast, and then he kind of stopped me. He was like, no, stop. You're blowing up my ego or whatever, or something like that. And I said, oh, no. I said, the reason why I love your podcast is because listening to you makes me feel so much better about myself. And then he walked away. No,
He just walked away, never talked to me again.
yeah, that was it. Actually, that was the last conversation I ever had with him. But anyway, so
Well, we got some good stuff to dive into, man. Why don't we go
you want to
for it?
jump in?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
You want to
Let's get
start
the
with some
ball
open?
rolling.
Want to start with some? Isn't the? I think like the ball's already rolling, but let's knock
Have
it around a
fun.
little bit.
Have fun. What's your new quote? Your new life? I'm just gonna.
Uh,
I'm,
just like I feel like I spent my whole life trying to like get my shit together. And then there's this kind of part of me that was like wasn't really going to be happy or content or relaxed or have fun until I got my shit together. Like then I will. And I just when I kind of realized this, I was like, wow, what am I waiting for? I might not ever get my shit together. I'm gonna relax now, man.
yeah. Enjoy life.
Enjoy life. Yeah, it's funny. I don't think it's specific to me. I think a lot of people have this kind of experience, like
I
once
don't
I get
know.
my ducks in a row, then I can be happy. Then I can feel free. Once I get my, I don't know, my IRAs set up or once I get whatever it is, whether it's whatever holds you up, like that financial stuff or your career stuff or your relation. Once I get that perfect boyfriend, that perfect girlfriend, then I'll be happy.
I don't know. I think you're kind of weird about that. I don't think most people experience. Just kidding.
Dude, all those compliments that you just showered upon
They
me
just got erased.
you just got washed away. And now I just feel like this vulnerable, heart open sponge just lying here in front. You
No, man, no, you really are. You're good looking. You got a great personality. But this thing, where you
Hey,
don't feel like you're,
I'm funny though, too, right?
you are funny. You are funny.
But this thing about you, I think you're the
Getting your
only
ducks in
one.
a
You're like
line. That's just, I don't know. That's not jiving with me.
you're a freak. Well, dude, but yeah, come on, man. You are like you're so chill all the time, bro. You
Nah,
are
man. Nah,
so
man.
you don't relate to what I'm talking about because
Nah,
you're just like
man.
out there having fun. You're just
Just
always
party, man. Let's party.
laughing.
Let's party.
When you're like one of those guys when you say, "Hey, how's it going?" and you go, "All good." It's like, yeah, that
Dude,
dude means it, man.
I'm now gonna start like wearing sunglasses inside. That's how chill.
You don't even need to, bro. I'm telling you, that's like costume. You're you're like your vibe is so.
Sunglasses at night, inside, just like wherever I go, sunglasses are on.
I get it.
Kirtan,
I can
sunglasses is good
understand.
to go.
Sometimes when I share, my issues with you, I see you looking at me like you're so confused, because I know that you don't have any. And
No, no. Oh man, this is too good.
I told you the ball was already rolling.
Yeah, we're rolling.
We're rolling. All right, but we do have a job to do.
Yes, let's introduce. First, let's do some invocations, guru invocations.
Beautiful.
Where we take a moment as we open up this container. We call in the gurus and the great ones that have walked the path before us, the highest streaming wisdom and love and truth and the divine lineage of masters through chanting this Guru mantra. Om Akanda Mandala Karam Vyaptam Jena Chara Charam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Salutations to the Guru who revealed to me the supreme truth, which is unfragmented, infinite, timeless divinity, and which pervades the entire universe.
Jnana Timidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Salutations to the Guru who opened my eyes, which had been blinded by the darkness of ignorance, by applying the divine ointment of self-knowledge.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Guru is the creator, sustainer, and the destroyer. Guru is directly the supreme spirit, both manifest reality and the absolute. My reverential salutations to the glorious Guru who resides in the hearts of all beings as the true self.
Hari Om Bolo Shisa Gurudev Bhagwan Ki.
Jai.
Baba Neem Karoli Santa Maharaj Sat Gurudev Bhagwan Ki.
Jai.
Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai Hanuman Ki.
Jai.
All right. So, everybody, what we do next in this flow of events here on the Love Everyone podcast is we introduce a line of the Hanuman Chalisa and we have some reflections on it. And man, we've journeyed through 25 lines, and here we are on Chopai number 26, and this one's amazing. The English is Hanuman releases from affliction those who remember him in thought, word, and deed. Again, Hanuman releases from affliction those who remember him in thought, word, and deed. And then the Avadi is Sankatiten Hanuman Churave Manakrama Bachana Dhyana Jolave. One more time. Sankatiten Hanuman Churave Manakrama Bachana Dhyana Jolave. Hanuman releases from affliction those who remember him in thought, word, and deed. Wow, what a promise.
Mm.
Any thoughts, man? What pops up with that?
This is the what would Hanuman do line. This is the think like Hanuman, speak like Hanuman, act like Hanuman. That's really what I get out of this. And it does follow quite beautifully on the last two lines, which were really about the power of the name and japa meditation, and that you know the power of the name, the power of Ram, the power of Hanuman, these divine names can literally like protect us and heal us and and do so much for us. And here he's describing this releasing from affliction, and this beautiful word sankata, which is, we hear all the time when we say sankat mochan Hanuman ki jai. And sankat mochan is a releaser, or the essentially the one who removes. It's a name of Hanuman, and it's the means the one who removes our suffering, removes our affliction. So Tulsidas is kind of playing off that name here. And I these japa, which is that meditation of repetition of the name, is, I always think of it, it's one of the pillars of Bhakti Yoga, especially for, in the lineage that we come from with Neem Karoli Baba. But I always think of it as like in relation to, I mentioned the 8 modes of bhakti, like 9 modes of bhakti moments ago, and I'm going to mention it again because the third mode of bhakti, according to this list of 9, is remembering. And this japa is this like the main tool that we have to remember. That when we're chanting the name, it's hard to not think about Hanuman or not think about Ram. Like it's just a way of clearing our mind. And then we look at this word dhyana here, which we've got to translate it as remember. And it's beautiful because this third mode of bhakti is smaranam, which means to remember. But really the word more translates as meditate. So I like this too, is that like meditate on Hanuman, and meditate on what would Hanuman say? What would Hanuman think? What would Hanuman do? This is like the line that I try to come back to, and I fail miserably most of the time, unfortunately. But the goal, the intention is that when I am in a conundrum and I can't figure out what to do, and if I've gone to Baba and Hanuman and got on my knees and prayed and said, tell me what to do, and I still don't have an answer, I try to remember to meditate, like try to put myself in Hanuman's shoes. What would he do? And if you think just, Hanuman's virtues are, we've learned that he's an ocean of virtue. Like he's like a perfect being, so everything that he thinks, when I think about what does Hanuman think about, it's pretty much like, how can I serve Ram? How can I serve Ram? So if I'm thinking about a conundrum and I'm like, what should I do here? And I do this meditation and I think, well, what would Hanuman do? Well, how does it serve Ram? This is just like, this is the complete thought that Hanuman has, and if it doesn't serve Ram, he's thinking, oh, well, I guess I shouldn't do it. I should look for some other way to serve Ram. And then there's the word, and it's like, well, I just can't imagine. Can you imagine Hanuman saying something nasty? Or can you imagine Hanuman like sitting around gossiping about, oh, Narada came by and he did this and he did that, and he's such a jerk. And, it's never going to happen, right? And so Hanuman only speaks, of love, because he's so devoted to Ram. And the Ramcharitmanas says this beautiful line that says Ram loves only love. So everything that Hanuman speaks, because he's so determined to serve Ram, it's just going to be love. And so like oh, what should I tell this person the truth about this thing? And okay, well, is that a loving action? Do they need to hear the truth? Is it important? Is it just my ego wanting to prove that I know what's going on? I can have all these thoughts, and then it just has to come back to, well, is it a loving thing to do? Is it a loving thing to say? And then this carries right into this final thing, which is deeds, just that all of Hanuman's actions. I always like to think of Hanuman as either doing two things. One, he's just out and about serving Ram in all the ways that he can, or he's just deep in meditation, Ram, 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 just waiting for that call, waiting for Ram to give him ring him up on the spiritual telephone and say, Hanuman, I need you. And then he's off. He's taken off. But so anyway, so that's kind of my first thoughts about this line. I've always loved this line, but my gist is this is the what would Hanuman do line.
Mm.
What about you? What do you think about this line?
Well, there's a part of me that there's a part of my brain that sort of wants to know why this is possible. Why that if we remember Hanuman in thought, word, and deed, and meditate on Hanuman as our sacred ideal, then why does that release us from all of our afflictions?
Mm.
And yet there's another part of me that wants to sort of just push that to the side and just this is a faith-based practice. This is a faith-based bhakti. You talked about one of the pillars of bhakti is japa, and certainly another pillar of bhakti is shraddha, which is having faith. And as we know in these second half of the Chalisa, these second 20 lines, we have all these promises. And I really do believe that so much of it is just having faith in Tulsi Das's words. But, I've seen this happen. These promises come true in my life so many times that now I'm really feel like I'm having more faith than I ever have. Going back to what we were talking about, I couldn't sleep because the itching was so bad from these sea lice. But the moment I remembered to chant chalisas, it helped me get to sleep, and I was able to get to sleep. Last night, I think because of it was sort of, I don't know why, I can't say why, but I had a migraine last night. And I woke up at 1 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, and I just couldn't lay down. The headache was just too, with the quietness of everything, I couldn't lay down. It was just too much pain. So I came downstairs and I just started doing, like, circling my whole house, like doing parikram. And I took me about 2 circles and I said, grab your beads. Remembered to grab my beads. And I grabbed the beads and I just started doing chalisas with my mala beads and doing ram in between each chalisa. And I was in a pretty awful state. And it took about an hour of doing this. I imagine it was probably about close to 3 a.m. of just doing straight chalisas and ram japa. I got to my couch and I just sat down and ultimately laid down and went to sleep.
Mm.
So I was released from affliction. So I don't know, man. I just think we just got to remember to do it.
That's it.
And we've talked at length about forgetting, but we got to just remember to do it. And when we remember to do it, it works. And I think a lot of our suffering, is certainly can be minimized when we engage ourselves in thinking and speaking and practicing and acting. And we have this ideal, this sacred ideal of Hanuman to follow. And when we do make that choice and use our willpower to make that choice to, as you said, live like Hanuman, speak like Hanuman, think like Hanuman, I do believe, and I believe it because I've seen it happen in my life. Left to my own mind, who knows how long it would have taken me to get to sleep. But when I was walking, I guess this is the interesting, when I was walking and doing the chalisas, the headache was there, but something else was there more.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the vibration of the chalisa. It was a little louder than that thumping of the headache. And so I wasn't suffering as much. The affliction wasn't so pronounced. So I don't know, man. I do believe that Tulsi Das is speaking truth, and our work is to have that faith in what he's speaking.
Did what you say assuage that little part of your brain that was questioning it at the beginning? Because I think that's an interesting thing to dig into a little bit. Like, how is this practically, because I think there are some practical reasons, and you touched on a couple of them, I think, of how this kind of practice can even without that bigger overarching faith, which of course we need to have just to keep going, just to give fuel our willpower. Like, why would I even do this if I didn't believe there was a chance it's going to work? But I think, like, also, you mentioned that part of your brain that wants to say, well, how could it possibly do that? Um, but what do you think about that? Can we satisfy that part of the brain a little bit more?
I don't know if we can. I mean, maybe in a sense, like what I just shared, that we're so glued to our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And the pain was not my thoughts. The pain was I don't know, is that when it's in your head, is that a physical sensation? Whatever that is, it was a thumping.
The headache, yeah.
But as I turned to the Chalisa,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't so identified with my body anymore, but I was more glued to the Chalisa, which, as we talked about, what was that two lines ago, is medicine.
Yeah.
It
You
is
know,
medicine.
the yeah, I think that this we get this slow, sweet release when we replace our affliction with the mantra, you know? And I think it's so much of, sure, you've got the physical headache going on, but so much of our suffering about it is like our attachment to, why is this happening to me, or whatever it is that you're going through in your mind, and in really like this, and really connecting with it. And somehow I think the mantras and the chalisas or the ram japa, or even in this case of, like, even if you were to just meditate and bring all your willpower towards thinking about Hanumanji, um, is that this untethers us a little bit, right? As you were just describing. So I think that it works on both levels, meaning like that literally physically, if you're able to, I mean, as simple as this sounds, but literally like distract yourself with a mantra,
Yeah.
you know, that even that with no bhakti or devotion, Because, even Neem Karoli Baba used to say, like, even speaking these names in anger, even speaking these names with lethargy, even speaking like, but if you're doing it, there's still power there. And I don't know. So I think that uh, bringing Hanuman into our awareness, because there's nothing that Hanuman can't handle. That's the other thing. If you're like, okay, well, Hanuman can handle a headache. You know what I mean? I mean, Hanuman can handle itchy, sea lice. He can, I mean, I don't know. They might not even go near him though, out of just fear.
It's been a tough week for me, bro.
No, it sounds like it, man. But hey, but you have direct proof of what these lines are talking about.
True, true. And I think it puts things into perspective. I don't think anybody has ever died from sea lice.
No,
I don't
I
think
mean,
anybody's ever died from a headache. You know what I
I
mean? But it's
yeah.
so Ram Dass talked about what was foreground becomes then background, and what was background then becomes foreground. Like you put into a different perspective.
Yeah.
This is something I've just been focusing on so much in just my own personal life meditations. It's just the power of our perception, that our perception creates our reality. And having Hanuman to use use Hanuman as sort of this through this lens of Hanuman perception, which I think is a lot what this line, you know, through the word, thought, word, and deed, like we can live through this lens of Hanuman, is this just almost like tried and true way of living life as a human.
Mhm.
And I think everything I do believe it helps, man. It really helps a lot, especially in our suffering, because humans get headaches, humans bodies get broken bones and sprained ankles and cancer and jellyfish bites and whatever it is.
Mhm.
So we need to, and then that becomes like typically the foreground of all of our focus.
That's right. Yeah.
But then turn it around and put Hanuman as the foreground, and then that all starts to become the background, and this too will pass. It's a whole different way of walking through the world.
Yeah. It's interesting too, is like releases from affliction. I mean, you might still have to go through the affliction,
Yeah, but eventually,
but eventually, yeah, it doesn't say like instantly,
right?
you know, but it's like if you are in the middle of that affliction and you remember to put Hanuman first, or to, see the divine play going on instead of your little egoic
Mm.
circumstances, that then eventually you're going to make it through that affliction, because that too shall pass.
And your perception of that is the key. Because
Yeah.
if you don't have that perception, it's all suffering, man. It's
Oh,
all suffering.
that's right. Yeah.
But when you have that ability to perceive in that way, and that's why I really feel so much of spiritual life is recognizing that we have a choice, as in how we're going to perceive each and every moment and experience. And I think this is giving us thought, word, and deed, this sacred ideal of Hanuman.
The more I walk this spiritual path, the more like literally just the woe is me, or the complaining, or any of this stuff, it's just not even welcome at the table. Like, it's just not, like, the minute you fall into that, the complaining, or like, why is this happening to me, or whatever, you've just completely derailed your journey. It's so interesting, because it's such a, I don't know, it's so habitual for so many people. It's just such a pattern that we just fall into so easily. It's like, even when stuff happens, like we get bit up by sea lice, we want to tell people about it. I mean, it's just, it's such a natural part of like our connection with people. And I just,
Sort of social. That's our social way of interacting.
yeah, it's like, it's often we sit around and we console each other, in this sort of like, oh, here's all the bad shit that happened to me last week. And then people are one upping each other. We're like, oh, well, that sounds bad, but boy, you should have seen what happened to me last week. And and again, we're talking about headaches or rashes, or I mean, it's very rarely is it anything, and even when it is more than that, you notice that the really grounded people who are rooted in their spirituality, they don't make it about them. I mean, here I'm going to come back once again to Radha. We talked about this before, but when Radha, just lost her dear, son Shiva, our dear beloved brother Shiva, and and he passed away so quickly and so suddenly, and there was Radha in the satsang with us the next morning, and she wasn't looking for sympathy or wasn't looking. She was teaching us.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's so there's no, you can't put a thing and be like, oh, well, once you have this level of suffering, now it's okay to complain about it or to marinate in, and now, and now you can identify with that. And I think the goal, from what I'm picking up from all this, is that we never want to identify with that.
Mhm.
We never want to identify with that. And that's hard because our bodies hurt.
Yeah. That's yeah, that's a tough one because we're human, man, and I think we have to identify with that because at times more than not
Yeah.
I'm 99.9% identifying with that. Every once in a while I don't and
Oh, right.
identify with
Again, we're
spirit.
talking spiritual ideals here, brother.
Yeah.
we laid the
Yeah.
we laid the groundwork at the beginning, and established that not many of us have their shit together.
But we do our best. That's we make an attempt, and I think that's what you said about just being on a spiritual path, and I think that's an interesting phrase, on a spiritual path, because really what is most people call themselves on a spiritual path, right? And if you really, what is spiritual path? It's having a relationship with God, I would say, and your own spiritual self. But now almost like wellness is a broad term for a spiritual path, but that's not so much of really what being on a spiritual path is all about.
I'm on a cold plunge spiritual path.
I'm on a spiritual bypassing path.
Oh yeah, that's so good. Like sometimes when you're on a freeway and there'll be like the bypass
Yeah.
that doesn't go through downtown, right? You take the bypass. I'm on a. Are you on a spiritual path? Oh no, I'm on a spiritual bypass path. I took the bypass. I love that.
Oh, this is great. Spiritual bypass path is that's for some people as well, and
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
it's
Uh,
everybody's on their trip, man. Everybody's on their trip.
yeah, and if you believe what the saints tell us, so is that we're all on the path, right?
We're
No
all
matter whether we know it or not,
yeah.
and we eventually tune in maybe to it, and that maybe, I don't know. I mean, again, I like sometimes we start talking about this stuff, and I'm like, I don't know.
I know.
Like, I mean,
And
all
I
like,
think I like that old saying, like, the Katie kept saying about Christian. I was like, let's just try to be good people, man. I'm not trying to get enlightened. I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
Mr. Holy. Just let's just try to be good people and be kind to others.
That's what I get from this thought word indeed.
Yeah. Just
Like
let's try to
Hanuman
bring
is
some
a
joy to the world, you know?
Hanuman is good people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Just
mean?
try to be a good person. It's pretty simple. And I was about to say something, but that's going to be our hit of LSD, and I'm kind of thinking maybe we should segue into it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I've been
You want
like
to wait a second. You want to take a hit of LSD?
I've been like looking at the clock, like, man, when can we take this hit?
Now wait a second. You're not talking about taking drugs, are you?
Getting drugs. Nah, man. This is called the OG LSD. Don't you know what that is? Everybody's talking about it.
The OG LSD? What
Yeah,
is
even on
that?
Instagram, people are talking about it.
What is that?
Didn't you see that post they made about the OG LSD? It's
No.
called Love, Service, and Devotion. This
Ah.
is like the kind of LSD that you can never come down from,
You can't
and
OD.
you can't OD. You just keep getting higher and freer.
Higher and freer. And you honestly, this is one of those, this is the kind of LSD you should take as much as possible.
I mean, one after the next after the next.
Well, so everybody, what we do in every episode, if you have not been tuning in, is that we take a hit of LSD of love, service, and devotion through the words of a great saint, great teacher, uh, another Bhakti yogi. And today we're going to hear from our beloved Ram Dass.
Mm.
So, hey, if you're not, I get these emails from Ram Dass. I love it. It makes me feel so special. But I think
I
lots of
get the
people
same
do you?
emails.
You do? I thought it
Yeah.
was just me, but he likes to send out these words of wisdom, and you can actually go to the Love Service Remember Foundation and sign up for this thing. And it's usually 2 or 3 times a week I get an email from Ram Dass, and he's got a potent hit of LSD every single time. And this is the latest one that he sent. I think it was just this morning. And he said, manifest love, compassion, wisdom, peace, and joy. That is in each of us. All you do is just be your soul. You radiate love. You don't do anything. That's it. You want to hear it again?
One more
One
time.
more time. It's a pretty big hit.
Yeah,
You know
this
what
is a
I
big
mean? A
one.
lot of
I
times we
read
take
it this morning when he sent me that email too, and I was really into this. I'm glad we're doing this one.
I know, and I love that he can still send emails from the other side. It's pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
He said, manifest love, compassion, wisdom, peace, and joy. That is in each of us. All you do is just be your soul. You don't do anything, you radiate love. That's it.
Oh, yeah, this is great stuff, man. And what I'm getting from this, it's all this stuff that we were talking about before, like just a few minutes ago. But we have to distinguish between the ego and the soul. That we have this ego who is trying to be all of these things. But he's saying just be the soul. Just be the soul. You are a soul. This is the soul's natural state. Satchit Ananda. Compassion, wisdom. These are the qualities of the soul. You don't have to try to be anything. The ego is always trying to be someone or
Mm,
something, or look a certain way, or speak a certain way, to have other people think you're this other way. But he's saying just be your soul. So there's no trying. So it's, instead of reaching outward for something, it's curling back into it that's already there. And it's just a vibrational difference between ego and soul. From ego, it's fear based. From soul, it's just love based. And it's who we are. It's nothing you can get. It's already there, and we have an unlimited amount of it. It's just the nature of who we are. But in saying that, there's a lot of work that it takes. Call it spiritual work, sadhana, to be able to discern this beautiful word, viveka, to discern what's of the ego and what's of the soul. And then I think once we get an idea that a lot of introspection and reflection and contemplation, and then we can start to rest more in our natural state of radiating love and that natural state of just beingness, which is compassion and peace and wisdom and all of these beautiful things that he spoke about.
Mm.
This is what I'm getting. How about you? What do you feel?
Oh, well, I love what you were saying about it reminds me of that beautiful imagery of like a sculptor working on like a sculpture, right? He's not adding anything, he's taking away. That we are this love that he's describing, that the soul just is that love. And you were talking about, us like even when we're trying to be this or trying to be that, or and we can think about that in so many levels, but even on a spiritual level, like, oh, I'm trying to be more loving. you know it's interesting thought, right? Because according to this, it's just like you don't have to try to be more loving, you just have to just radiate the love. You actually can't be more loving. You are full, unconditional love is your true being. So even that, like, I'm trying to be more loving, is kind of an ego trap.
Mm,
It feels like a spiritual, goal. And maybe on some levels it is, if you're literally just trying to stop being an asshole, you
mm,
know, but, which sometimes when people say, oh, I'm trying to be more loving, it's because I'm actually being the opposite of loving. But I like to think about it, and that's the way I think about this idea of polishing the mirror, is the same as like the sculptor who has this block of marble, or whatever he's making he or she is making the sculpture out of. And and it's not a matter of you know adding something here and adding something there, like a painter might be like taking a blank canvas and putting things on top of it. But it's the opposite, where we're basically like, the spiritual path maybe is just removing those things that are blocking that love from radiating, like the things that are keeping us from resting in our soul you know
mm,
and those are, a lot of the things that you just described, but the ego trying to be this and trying to be that and all that stuff, that when we're trying to be this and trying to be that, or trying to do this or trying to do that, or achieve this or achieve that, a lot of times those things, um, are obstacles, or they're things that are actually blocking that. So we're just kind of like, I don't know, we're just sort of like, our soul is like the kind of the spiritual sculptor who's just trying to chip away all that stuff that's blocking, and that's kind of an image that I'm getting here.
I
But
love that. I love that. And I think a lot of that is that we feel like this sort of lack, like there's this the ego is in this place of lack. So it wants more accolades. It chases external things to have a certain external quality of respect from others, or uh, you know, appearance of what we look like from the outer world. And when we get that, we think that that's going to fill in that inner void.
mm,
And so we it's like we put on a show and we put on a mask. And Ram Dass is saying you don't need to do any of that. It's remember your state of unconditional love. That's who you are. So take off all these masks.
Mm.
Take off the false ego and rest in the nakedness of your own being. And that's where you're enough. And that's actually where you're really beautiful. And that's where you actually can really radiate love and wisdom and all of these things.
I love that because this idea of just being completely naked. You mentioned like that the ego has this sense of like not enoughness, this lack, right? I need more. And the reality is that on a lot of levels is that we have too much. Certainly from from our consciousness point of view, we have too many things that we are too many masks we're trying to put on, too many outfits we're trying to put on, too many roles we're trying to fulfill. And 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 he's saying like it's the opposite. It's not that you don't have enough, because you have already everything that you need, but that you have even too much, that there's all these things that are covering it up, you know and God, that's really fascinating.
A laughing break, everybody. We need to just laugh.
We're getting a little too serious.
A little heady the last 20 minutes, if you ask me. All these people, they say, I love your podcast because you guys laugh all the time.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, and now for a word from our sponsors before we break.
Let's have a laughing moment, everybody.
Let's have a
laugh. Don't take yourself too seriously. Well, that's what Ram Dass on this. I think it was it the Seva Foundation, and they had all these great characters there. And in a meeting, if anybody got too serious, they would all put their Groucho Marx glasses on. Have you heard him say that?
I've heard this. Yeah,
yeah,
so
and
good.
that made everybody, basically saying, "Don't take yourself too seriously."
We should get some Groucho Marx glasses,
yeah,
or maybe some red clown noses. And during the podcast, anytime either one of us gets too serious, the other one can just pop that red nose on.
Right. we really believe that what we're saying is right. Yeah. Next thing, the other guy's got that nose on and a little smile.
Yeah, but I was thinking about this, in this relation to like taking ourselves too seriously, and in this, like, and this hit, this Ram Dass hit that is also, something that comes through is man, we just overcomplicate it so much, just even the spiritual path, not the spiritual bypass path. That's straightforward. You just go around.
You just go around.
You just go around,
Put your blinker on and go.
Just go around. Yeah. Just make sure you could change lanes and but the actual spiritual, now I'm getting serious.
Put the nose on.
But the real spiritual path, he says with authority, is more like, is more that it's just a lot. Is that it's more simple than that. Like Ram Dass is saying, is just radiate love. I am loving awareness. And just radiate that love. It's not that complicated.
Yeah. It's actually the simplest thing. We just want to complicate it all.
Yeah, and then there's all the other thing, we want to be cool, or whatever, right? I think we got to make love cool again. That's
Love is,
to me, that's the mission. That's the mission right there. Make
then we'd
love.
have a lot of people listening to our podcast.
What if we what?
If love became cool again.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's this really, I think Ram Dass always talks about this impeccable balance that we have to find. And he hit it, man. It's a really interesting balance between taking it all seriously and not taking it all seriously. Like you can't just walk around and not take anything seriously. Nobody will give you they won't give you your attention.
If you're just walking around in there
I
and
don't
they're like,
care
okay,
if
that'll be $100 for your grocery, and you're like,
hey, hey. But it's that impeccable balance that he talks about between both sides of the coin, where you take it absolutely and seriously, like each moment is the most important moment in your life, and yet at the same time, completely unattached to it.
yeah. And we have to have one foot in the material world and one foot in the spiritual world. We can't. We need to learn how to make bridge that gap. Because oftentimes that guy who's just completely in the spiritual thing, unless he's a saint or a sadhu, that oftentimes is a spiritual bypass. Like, just, we have to be able to meet people where they're at in the material world as well, or else we're just kind of a jerk, you know
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of, we've talked about this. I think it's that balance, the impeccable balance between living zoomed in and zoomed out,
yeah. Yeah,
right?
that's what I love. The deities that have, like, Ganesha often will have one foot on the ground and one foot up in the air, and one of the symbology meanings of that is that he's grounded on the earth, but also he's lifting towards the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
Saraswati often is like that. Lakshmi is often like that. You see that a lot and that's I love that imagery because it's so easy to forget. Either we're like completely lost in the material realm, or sometimes we put our little holier than thou hats on, and and we lose that connection, um and 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 then we just, everybody, it's just all good, and it's just all,
Yeah.
and it's everything, and it's like, it's, I don't know if you sometimes have been around people recently that, like, you almost can't say anything without them, like, giving you a little spiritual lesson.
Mm,
Sometimes, like, sort of high beings in the spiritual realm,
mm,
you almost just can't have like a conversation with them, because everything has to be a teaching, everything
mm,
has to be like a lecture, everything has to be like a seminar,
mm.
and I think that's really, that I think we have to be able to have some self-awareness around that. Like, even if
Yeah.
someone's speaking to us and we, it's easier to tell what's going on with somebody from outside oftentimes, and someone's telling you, sharing their story with you, and you're like, and you immediately, like, can see the solution, but it kind of, unless they ask for the solution, or unless it's like that kind of a situation, we just don't need to be lecturing people all the time, on spiritual matters. Do you ever meet people
Yeah.
like that? Does that make any?
Yeah, I meet people like that. I probably used to be one of those people, to be
Yeah, I'm sure I was. I'm
honest.
sure I was.
But
Absolutely.
then, I think what it comes down to, and then life humbles your ass, my ass, and then you realize you're not a high spiritual being. Or maybe it's, I think actually we're all high spiritual beings. But I also, there's that balance again you were just talking, and we're all just normal dudes and dudettes as well too. I mean, it's
Yes.
both. We are both, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of this Sitaram, Radha Krishna, Shiva Shakti. That's that ancient understanding that's been around for so long, and we in the West, just gone so into the material world, we've forgotten that we're all high spiritual beings. And I think that's something that Ram Dass really brought into the world, is he helped us collectively recognize that again. And yet a lot of us probably, speaking for myself or you as well, or whoever, we go, the seesaw gets, tipped, and then you just think of yourself as this high spiritual being all the time. But then as, life has its way, karma, slaps you down a little bit, and then you start to get humble and realize, oh, I'm just a a normal dude, just trying
Or
to
do that.
do that, just trying to get through each day, right?
Yeah. Well, man, I mean, that both, I think the ultimate hit of this is just radiate love.
And
And
I think the interesting thing, and this is going back to our Chalisa line, is that Hanuman, and I don't know why it's popping up right now, but I wish it would have popped up a half hour ago when we were talking about this line. But this is how it goes sometimes. The thought, word, and deed is that he's a being of action.
I love
And we are in the world, in this human world, human life. And so we have this great ideal as, to show us the way of how we're going to live in this world. And he is, you said it, he's serving Ram, or he's meditating, chanting Ram Nam. And
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 that's the
I
prescription.
love that about Hanuman, right?
Yeah.
Action, action, action. It's
Yeah.
not about avoiding. It's karma yoga. The highest and most optimal action is always in serving Ram.
Mm.
Jai
Jai Shri
Hanuman, Jai Hanuman,
Ram.
Jai Sitaram.
All right. Well, it feels like a good place to start wrapping it up. What do you think?
Let's do it. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
All right, everybody. So we just like to finish with some final prayers. We chant prayer for peace. And God knows the world needs it. We just pray that everybody, including ourselves, that we all find happiness and find a way to release our suffering. And we make this prayer for everybody. So we'll just chant for a few moments here just to finish up. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.
May all beings, including ourselves, be happy, be well, and be free from suffering. May all of our thoughts, words, and actions in some way contribute to that happiness, that well-being, and that freedom from suffering for all, including ourselves, including ourselves, including ourselves.
Love everyone, serve everyone, feed everyone, and remember God.
Bolo Shri Sadgurudev Bhagwan ki.
Jai.
Baba Neem Karoli Sant Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Ankatamochan Hanuman ki. Jai
Jai.
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Hanuman ki.
Jai. Jai Shri Ram. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Hey, I just want to throw this out there. We've just locked in some dates for the next LSD immersion. It's going to be in Encinitas at the Temple of Joy on September 12th and 13th. So you can go to bhaktiyogashala.com or robandmelissa.com and you'll be able to find out about that. But please come and join us if you want to just immerse yourself in a whole weekend of Hanuman Chalisas We had a great time in February or March when we did the first one, and I am so looking forward to this next one. So please come and join us.
Jai Hanuman. Thank you, everybody. It's been wonderful to be together. God bless. God is bless. And we'll see y'all real soon. Ram Ram.
Jai Sitaram.
Jai Hanuman.